Hello, Four Star Nation, and welcome back to a Sunday interview episode. We got Brandon Bumgarner in the house with us. We got Mr. Ron Higgins from Tiger Rag. What is it? Ron, TigerRagMagazine.com, correct?
.com. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the city of Baton Rouge, or the athletic director at Baton Rouge at LSU in Baton Rouge, pulled, I think, a incredible, shocking hire last week, bringing in Notre Dame's Brian Kelly, the winningest head coach ever at Notre Dame. Leaves Notre Dame, comes down to LSU. The last time we had you on, Ron, we talked about who you would like to see come into this position. So I guess the first question is, what is your initial reaction to the hire? What was your initial reaction to the hire of Brian Kelly?
I wasn't surprised. I knew they were interested in him early, and I don't know if he said just find or back burner or whatever, but I knew they liked him. He kind of fit everything they wanted. Proven track record, consistency, disciplinarian, a guy who's more of a football coach more than a player's pal or friend. Or this guy's not going to be a lot of gripping and grinning. I mean, this guy's he reminds me somewhat of Nick of Saban, who is mostly business and it's all about football with him. And they really needed somebody like that. And I mean, this was. For LSU's AD, this was a really good get. I mean, this is a guy he wanted him or Lincoln Riley. The whole thing is Lincoln Riley and and Brian Kelly and Scott Ward all have the same agent, which is always good in negotiations because your agent is representing Lincoln Riley and Brian Kelly. I don't know if Kelly was waiting to see what Riley was going to do, but I like the fact I like Kelly. He's the oldest coach LSU's ever hired at 60. He has a proven track record. Listen, look, they hired Kim Mulkey. She's 60, and she's already kicking butt and taking names. I think this was a really good hire. I like the hire. I understand why they didn't go after some other people. They didn't go after Kiffin. They didn't just thought he was a little bit too flighty for him. They wanted a proven winner, but they liked the guy they got. I mean, how can you not? I mean, when you steal a coach from Notre Dame, that's pretty stout, actually. I mean, it's really impressive.
It really is. It really is. Brandon, go ahead.
Yeah, funny story about Mulkey. Her son plays for the Memphis Redbirds, Kramer Robertson, and he also played at LSU's national championship baseball team, which is really cool. I've gotten to know Kramer a little bit as he spent time here in Memphis, and really cheering for him to make the St. Louis Cardinals. And his mom is one hell of a coach, as you said. Speaking of hell of coaches, though, Brian Kelly is the winningest coach in Notre Dame history. And last time you were on here, you said, first and foremost, I want LSU to go get a proven winner, which they did. And you also said that they were – can you hear me, Wes? They also said that or you also said, Ron. Oh, I think we lost Ron for a second. You're on mute, Wes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's having some connection issues, I think. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, Brian Kelly's a proven winner. And last time Ron was on here, he basically said that they were going to hire somebody at upwards of $15 million a year, and that's exactly what they did. And that's kind of what I was getting at. And I was just going to ask him about what he thinks about dishing that type of money out for a head coach when it's not really seen. I mean, Nick Saban makes $8.7 million a year, and Brian Kelly's making damn near twice as much.
Yeah, it's really crazy, man. And Ron's having some technical difficulties. For those of you watching right now on Facebook, and also on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching. Also, everybody watching on our website, 4star.live. Also, to everybody listening, we're on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio. I mean, we're everywhere. But yeah, right. Ron's having some technical difficulties, but Brandon, I tell you what, man, for LSU and Scott Woodward, Ron just talked about it. You bring in Kim Mulkey on the women's basketball side of things. You've already got Wade at the men's basketball helm, and now you bring in Brian Kelly at the football side of things. I mean, we already know about their facilities down there. We already know about their fan base. If you look at this hire, I mean, I think this is a splash. It is as big of a splash hire as we've seen all coaching carousel.
Yeah, I mean, it's the biggest hire to happen to this date so far. Besides maybe Lincoln Riley to USC, but I didn't expect Brian Kelly to leave Notre Dame.
No, I didn't either.
But money talks, and money talks, and in the SEC, everybody wants to win, and they're willing to dish out that type of money to go get football coaches. Kind of to bounce off of the Will Wade thing you brought up, they're 8-0 right now, sitting. I know they haven't started conference play yet, but they're sitting second in the SEC, which is unbelievable, especially given the scrutiny that Will Wade's been under since he's been the head coach there, as far as investigation and everything like that. But
yeah,
congrats to him, man. Young coach, knows how to get players bought in. That is not a shot at anybody who is listening to this who might be a Memphis fan. But LSU is on the rise as far as all sports. Yeah. Women's basketball, men's basketball, football, and college baseball.
Yeah, most definitely.
So, really excited to see how they build off of all this.
Yeah, and back to the Brian Kelly hire. I mean, we've talked about it. He's the winningest head coach in Notre Dame history, and we also know the admission standards at Notre Dame and the admission standards at LSU are night and day difference. So he's going to be able to now go get a different style of athlete, a different style of recruit that necessarily doesn't have to have the same academics that they would at Notre Dame. And we see the type of players that he was bringing in at Notre Dame. Do you see that continuing at LSU and possibly even becoming better of a better recruiter at LSU?
I mean, look at what Coach O did at LSU. He's got the 15th ranked recruiting class coming in there right now. My favorite name in all of college football, DeColdest Crawford, is about to be at LSU after this year. Brian Kelly's got a hell of a recruiting class coming in. I'm not saying he can't build off of it too, because he absolutely will, and I think he's going to turn out to be a pretty good recruiter for LSU.
Completely agree. Ron Higgins is back with us now. Go ahead with your question, Brad.
Yeah, Ron, I was on, we were cutting out, but the last time you were on here, you said that LSU would be willing to spend upwards of $15 million a year for a head coach, and that's exactly what they did. Can you kind of elaborate on what you think and what the fans think about that much money? I mean, he's making damn near half of, more than half of what Nick Saban, not more than half, making half of what Nick Saban is, or double. I'm having a brain fart right now. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah, he's right at $10 million a year for 10 years.
$10 million. Okay.
Yeah, he's right at $10 million. Plus, there's some other things that'll kind of jack it up, but a solid $10 million a year. I know people think it's an exorbitant amount of money. I get that. The average person on the street thinks it's way out of whack, but when you put it in context of how much an athletic budget is for a major college like LSU, when you have like a $160, $180 million budget, $10 million a year is a really good investment for the sport that's going to pay for all the other sports. That's why it's important. And a lot of people also fail to realize about when you have a really good major college football program, it affects the economy of your city. If your football program this sucks, people aren't going to go to the game. People are going to go to restaurants on Saturdays to eat. People aren't going to go buy stuff to tailgate with. They don't want to go to the game. There's a cause and effect to all this that a lot of people just don't understand. I mean, when you have a really good college football program and people want to go to your games and they want to tailgate and they want to make it an event, it affects the economy of your whole city, and that's why you invest $10 million in the guy, because frankly, LSU's home games this year were pretty crappy. I mean, the crowds, people kind of lost interest, honestly, and it wasn't so. And again, that all goes back. It affects more than your university football program. It affects the economy of your city. I mean, there's a lot of people who have temporary jobs in football season because of the amount of live businesses and stuff that goes on. So there's a supply and demand here.
That's a good point, and I had never really thought about it like that. I mean, if you pay the leader of your football program, which brings in the majority of the money, I would assume at LSU,
Yeah.
then your return investment is really, really good. I never really thought about it like that. Jonathan Studford said, I wish Coach O would coach the ball game. I want one more Go Tigers. Coach O said it best, man. I'm heading to Destin, which is, I think, is the most Louisiana thing you can do, is just lose your job at LSU and then just go to the beach right down the road to Destin.
Yeah.
When you look at Coach O, Ron, talk a little bit about what do you think his legacy will end up being at LSU?
Well, his legacy probably is he had the best year in LSU football history. They cashed in his lottery ticket contract, and basically next year really just lost focus and got himself fired. Took $1 million to the bank, to the beach. That's basically. I mean, really, it's been the last 2 years. 2 weeks after the cancer extension, 2 weeks after that, he divorced his wife, and right after that, he just went off the damn deep. Basically, lost focus on this football program and made bad hires. Made bad hires. Became more of a cartoon character than a coach. It was sad. He took an unbelievable program here, that, but not, but also not taking the sports in the gutter, and you're 5'5", 1-6 necks, and you're scraping by, making bad hires for coaches, and basically in your mind, because you know they're going to cash in bigs, which is what he did. So, I guess good for him. He's the smartest guy out of all of us. He got himself fired. He banked about $17 million and took his blonde girlfriend to the beach.
Brandon, he was announced this week at the Louisiana State basketball game. Jeff Vincent said, just tuning in, Ron, what do you think about Kelly basically mocking Southerners by faking a Southern accent?
I don't think mocking's the right word. Was it a mistake? Probably, but it was basically one word: family.
Yeah, he said family.
Family.
I don't really care how he speaks as long as he wins games. Honestly, maybe they tried to do too much, and it probably that. But if that's the worst thing he does on this job compared to some of the stuff other coaches do on this job, he's big.
Yeah, that's a good point. Talking about Kelly, talking about this recruiting class, do you see him retaining the majority of this class and then also probably building on it too? I mean, I know he's getting in a little late in the game, quote unquote, but we also know Brian Kelly's a hell of a recruiter.
Yeah, I anticipate him holding on to a lot of this class. I really do. I mean, first of all, it's a tight knit class. It's kind of held together by Walker Howard. I mean, honestly, he's kind of held this class together since they've been committed. A lot of these guys know each other. They've been committed for a while, and yeah, they'll they got like 13 hard commits, and it's not to say who they'll get in the transfer portal later on. It's not to say who they'll get in the late signing period when he finally gets the staff in. I mean, right now, probably I would imagine his biggest priority is holding on to these recruits and putting a staff together. Obviously, the guys from Notre Dame didn't come. But I anticipated him keeping a couple of people off the staff who are key people. Corey Raymond, Kevin Falk, who are two key people for him. That would help immensely in recruiting to keep those two, especially Corey Raymond. And then you kind of work from there. But it's one of those things where, Notre Dame moved quickly. They hired the defensive coordinator who Ellis tried to hire a year ago here. Their staff stayed. That's fine. And I mean, I would like to have their defensive coordinator. He became a head coach. The offensive coordinator they had, I wasn't that impressed with. So, I mean, look, there's a lot of people who want to work here at LSU. They know it's a great program, and they won't work for a coach like Brian Kelly. He's kind of like Nick. He can be hard on you, but if you handle your business, eventually you're going to get a good job for your own as a head coach.
That was my next question, Ron. Do you think that Brian Kelly could go after he got fired today, a Joe Brady type guy, bring him back to LSU and maybe bring that type of success back that he had with that offense? Or
I would Joe Brady. No, I would. No, I wouldn't do that. Joe Brady was 1 year. Joe Brady didn't call all the plays. He called third downs and goal lines. People don't give Ensminger enough credit for that reason. Also, honestly, there's a lot of plays that Joe Brady called that, and Ensminger called that Joe Burr simply made look great. I mean, he made average plays turn to touchdowns. He and his receivers. I don't know if I'll get good Brady. But, I mean, these are two key hires now. I mean, the offensive coordinator thing is a big deal. Kelly likes to play power football, but he also likes to run a spread out of it. And he likes to get big linemen and run, but he also likes to run spread stuff out of it. So it's not necessarily him lining up in two tight ends or three tight ends and run over people. So it'll be interesting to see who he pulls in. There are a few people out there. Mike Bobo is out there. I used to be at Georgia. I don't know who else is out there. I wouldn't. I've heard people say, "Well, you go get Dan Mullen." I just Mullen for a lot of reasons, but one he's a horrible recruiter, which is one of the reasons he got fired in Florida. But we'll see how this plays out. I mean, like I said, how quickly he hires people, that'll be a question. I don't know at this point if he feels like he's in a race with signing day. If signing day, the early signing day, it is what it is right now. I mean, I don't think hiring a coach, a hurry to hire a coach right now at this point would make a lot of difference for the recruits. The head coaches are recruiting you, and you kind of trust the head coach is going to get somebody decent. So at this point, could it be used against LSU by other schools? It could. They could say, listen, they don't know who their assistant coaches are yet, blah, blah, blah. But at this point, I think kind of they're just going to hold the people they got, and they kind of work from there.
One name I kind of wanted to float out. Sorry, Wes. You can go ahead if you wanted to.
No, you're good. You were going to say exactly what I was getting ready to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. One name I did want to float out there is former Memphis head coach Justin Fuente / Virginia Tech head coach. I think he'd fit that area perfectly. Not only is he from Oklahoma, but he also played football at Oklahoma, and he knows the entire boot of Louisiana. So a lot of people don't realize this, but a lot of the talent he got at Memphis was out of Louisiana, and he implemented it here at the University of Memphis, and he was so successful. You look at a guy like Dorland Dorcius, who was his running back, who was very successful here, and he sustained that success with getting guys out of the southeast or southwest, I guess you could say, of the Southeastern Conference, which would be your Texas, your lower Texases, your lower Louisiana. You can get into Mississippi, recruit there, everything like that. I think Fuente would fit the system with Brian Kelly, honestly.
Well, it all depends if one of these guys really want to go back into just kind of coaching right away, or kind of just kind of sit and, take his buyout and just kind of sit there and, I think he's got an $8.75 million buyout. He's banking, not Ed Orgeron money, but a lot of times these coaches, all depends on their ego. All depends if he wants to hop back in a place to be offensive coordinator somewhere under a really good coach, or just kind of like exhale for a year and see what goes on. The problem with exhaling for a year a lot of times is that the more you're out, the more you're forgotten, and that's the problem. I know Houston Nutt always thought he was going to get back in it after Ole Miss. Just never happened. I mean, it's just nobody would hire him, and so he eventually went to TV. But that's the fear. A lot of coaches. I mean, a lot of coaches would like to. I think they would like to exhale and say, "Okay, we just sit back and see what goes on," and then I have enough confidence that somebody hire me. It could happen again, but a lot of coaches would like. Once you've been a head coach, you don't really want to go back to be a coordinator, but it all depends on the personality and the guy, really.
Well, Ron, speaking of offensive and defensive coordinator, you talked about how important that hire is. We've seen around the SEC, for example, at Arkansas, Sam Pittman brings in Barry Odom to run his defense and Kendall Browse to run his offense, and we've seen the success that has happened there in a short period of time. Who do you see as Brian Kelly possible candidates to come in and run his offense and defense?
Man, I haven't thought about it. I just, I really haven't. It's just like, it's one of those things where you just want to get the guy hired, and then having looked at I mean, I know a few people who are out there, but it's one of those, he may have somebody that he's worked with before he likes. It's open. It's one of those, I mean, right now it's kind of wide open. It'll be interesting to see how he puts his staff together. I mean, I'm clueless on this one. I'll be honest, I'm clueless on this one, because I really haven't looked at it that hard after he hired people. I was so glad he hired somebody, because we have a magazine deadline this week, and I go on a cruise Thursday, so I was really happy that he hired somebody before I didn't want to be in the middle of Gulf of Mexico and LSU not have a football coach. But
it's all about you, Ron. That's why he did it. He said, Ron's getting ready to go on this cruise. I got to get this taken care of.
I was telling Woodward, you got to hurry up, man. I mean, I don't want to be out in the middle of the Gulf and you hire somebody. But again, they did it in a timely manner. It's amazing how much. It's amazing how much the early signing period has changed college football hirings. It's forced schools to speed stuff up. It's forced guys to leave their programs before, if they're going to postseason, they'll leave them. That's all a byproduct of early signing period. That rarely happened before the early signing period. That rarely happened where there was a rush to hire a guy right after the end of the season. And usually it happened after a bowl game. It gave you a little time to breathe, but allowed the guy to finish it at school and go out on good terms. And all the Notre Dame people are unhappy with Brian Kelly for leaving. There's no easy way to do that. There's no easy way to do that. Their AD kind of sensed that he was going to probably leave and go somewhere, but there's no easy way to do that. You text your kids and say, I'm sorry you heard about it in the media. I'll meet tomorrow morning. I'll talk to you. And you go meet them, and then the meeting's short. I mean, what can you say? I mean, I love you guys. I mean, I appreciate you coming to Notre Dame. This is a great thing. Kim Mulkey told me said my speech to my team when I left lasted 3 minutes because I couldn't hold it together. I just told them, she said, I'm just, I love all of y'all. I love this university, but this is a chance for me to go home. I'm going home. There wouldn't be anywhere else I'd do this for, but I'm going home. And she said, there's nothing else I could say at that point. And I'm sure Brian Kelly's the same thing after 10 or 11 minutes. What else can you say? It's something, this is the real world. Kids got to get used to this, man. I mean, that's just This is real world. Stuff happens like this. Coaches change jobs. If you get in the pros, stuff happens like all the time, every year, or happening during the year, or maybe your best friend on the team is traded. It's like this. It's business, and when it's probably college athletes need to learn that. They've learned that pretty quick, probably in college. It's a business, and in a business like this, you got a coach, and this coach is he's selling the school. He's still on the school. He's selling himself and selling the school, but it doesn't mean he's going to stay there forever. The coach is loyal to whoever gives him his paycheck, and obviously LSU made him a great offer. And it's to the point that he had to take it. He's 60 years old. He wants to go somewhere where he has a chance to win a national championship. And honestly, you just don't have enough athletes at Notre Dame to do that. You can, whether it's even though they lowered the academic standards a little bit last 3 years, it's hard to find enough athletes to stockpile on a team to compete with Southern football teams. It just is. And it's not just the speed or whatever. It's the depth of all that. Everybody on a team is fast. Everybody's athletic. That's what sets the Southern teams apart when they play the Ohio States of the world or the Michigans of the world or whatever. Yeah, they have good athletes, but do they have enough of them? And frankly, he did the best he could there, but they weren't going to win a national championship. And he's like 60 years old. He's thinking, okay, my window's closing here. I probably about 10 years of my life left here. As a coach, I want to go somewhere where I know I can recruit. I know there's a ton of athletes, or there's a ton of athletes in state. I got a massive recruiting budget. It's got tradition. That's all any coach wants when he looks for a school to coach at. Good recruiting area, good tradition, good budget.
Well, all three of those boxes are checked when it comes to LSU. Ron, we saw today the bowl games were announced. LSU is playing Kansas State. Talk a little bit about that Kansas State matchup. Is there a good bit of excitement down there in Baton Rouge for that bowl game? I think he froze up on me. Brandon, talking about that bowl game.
I'll tell you what, Wes. My family and I are going to watch that LSU and Kansas State bowl game.
Yeah, most definitely, man.
In all seriousness, they're not fired up for that game at all. They're fired up that they have a new coach and he can bring new life to their program. And look, as many of our viewers know, I am a big Coach O fan. I love Coach O. I think he was a good guy for the job, but you know what? He wasn't winning the way they want him to win, so they removed him.
No, and I think
2 years after he won a national title. So,
and I wrote about it in an article that I posted this week. Ron Higgins hit the nail right on the head. This early signing period has changed the world of college athletics when it comes to football.
Yeah.
And it's taken all the loyalty out of it. Let's be honest. Like I said in the article, it's a known fact now. The university knows it's a business. The coaches definitely know it's a business. And now the players understand it's a business. But if you move this early signing period back, put it back to March or April or whenever it was. It used to be in February, I believe.
Yep.
It changes everything. It changes the entire landscape because I'll be honest with you, I feel bad for the players in this situation. I feel bad for the players at Notre Dame, for the players at Oklahoma that Lincoln Riley just walked out on. That you know what I'm saying? It's
but
Christian.
Kind of as Ron said, this is the new normal of college football. So
it is.
If a player's going to be mad at you for thinking that you're bettering your life, then let them be mad.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
Christian said
one thing.
Christian said, "I think Ron answered your question by exiting the show."
Yeah, I saw that.
He may very well have, Christian.
Yeah, no. I'm really being on the side of like we're fans of a school that is 2 coaches have left us.
Yeah.
Were we salty? There are some fans that are salty, but also I'm smart enough to know that Florida State does a better job than Memphis, and Virginia Tech does a better job than Memphis.
Yeah,
and it's because they're Group of 5 schools that offer something that Memphis doesn't.
Right.
Not only do they offer a lot more money, but they offer better recruiting and everything,
facilities and everything.
I'm not saying that Memphis can't be that one day, because I think we will be that one day.
I agree.
But as far as LSU, look at LSU. Like Ron said, they have history. They have everything that you need to follow up to be a successful coach there.
Yeah.
The last 3 coaches at LSU have all won national championships.
Yes.
Nick Saban, Les Miles, and Coach O.
And
all 3 have won national titles there.
Yeah, and when Saban was brought in to LSU, nobody saw that coming.
No.
When Les Miles came to LSU from Oklahoma State, nobody saw that coming.
Nope.
Now again, Brian Kelly, this came out of nowhere. This set Twitter freaking blew up, buddy. It was nuts, man. But we definitely want to thank Ron Higgins for coming on with us. He just shot me a text message, said his internet is having issues. But thank you again to Ron Higgins. We'll make sure and share this episode with everybody as well. For the time that he was on, Ron Higgins, man, Brandon, I know you agree with this. When it comes to LSU athletics, there's nobody better to get in touch with than Ron Higgins, because he knows it inside and out.
Absolutely. And hopefully when he gets done with his cruise and drinking a few Mai Tais and all kinds of other stuff, we can have him back on shortly after his vacation.
Yeah.
Just to kind of follow up with this.
Definitely a well-earned vacation as well.
Basketball and everything like that.
Yeah.
I really love having Ron on the show because he brings a lot of insight.
He does.
To LSU athletics, and he also grows our fan base by supporting us and having Tiger Rag and everything like that. So,
yeah,
just thankful to have him on.
He has become a really good friend of the show, man. I really like Ron, his insight. He gives us insight on articles that we've written, shows that we've done. I mean, he's been very, very helpful, and also just a good guy all the way around, man. Been covering. He worked in Memphis for the Commercial Appeal, so there's a little bit of a Memphis tie to Ron Higgins as well. But man, I tell you what, Ron Higgins is great. Everybody, thank you to everybody watching once again. 4-Star Sports Media Facebook, 4-Star Sports Media YouTube, and 4-Star Sports Show Facebook page. Also, the brand new website, 4star.live. We are live right now.
Check us out, man.
If you look on the bottom of the website screen right now, we're at the bottom right now playing. Just click it. You'll pull us right up. And
check us out, 4star.live.
4star.live. We have got some things going, got some things brewing.
Tell them what we got tomorrow, Wes.
Tomorrow we've got Rob Brown from Sidelines. Sidelines Talk Sporty to me is his moniker. But Rob Brown does a great job Monday through Saturday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central Time on
This
Sidelines.
is Sidelines with Rob Brown.
Yeah.
Talk sporty to me.
That's exactly what it is, man. And then he starts with his guitar play.
But
yeah. Tomorrow night, 6:30, Rob Brown will be on with us for a great time talking all things college
Rob's
football.
going to be fun, man. And unfortunately, I won't be on tomorrow.
He's going to be hot, buddy.
He's going to be awesome. So
yeah, he's going to. There's no telling what will be said tomorrow night on the live with Rob Brown for sure.
Be sure if children are around to cover your ears because
he'll let it fly.
We don't know what Ron's going to say. Honestly,
no, I have
we
no
don't
idea.
know.
I have no clue what he's going to say. But once again, thank you to Ron Higgins for coming on with us tonight. We apologize for his technical difficulties, but it didn't matter. Once again, man, he hit a home run. Again, Ron Higgins is the man. Check him out, guys. Ron Higgins on Facebook. I believe he is at Ron Higgins on Twitter. Got some great.
You could look up. It's Ron Higg.
Is that what it is? Ron Higg.
Yeah.
But man, every single basketball
y'all
game.
go Follow. Y'all, I sound like Brian Kelly now.
Calm
Y'all
down.
go follow Tiger Rag on Twitter.
Yeah. On the Twitter. But yeah, Ron Higgins does a great job, man. He's got great insight. He does recaps, live recaps from the stadium, in following every football game and basketball game he's at. They're incredible, man. They're incredible. Check out Ron Higgins. But for Brandon Bumgarner, I am Wes Pruitt. You've been watching the interview with Ron Higgins tonight. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Go Tigers and follow